morning, good afternoon, and good evening to you wherever and whenever you are joining us. Welcome to our latest edition of What Caught My Eye, or WCME Sports. As always, I am your host, the coach Nick Vesci, joined by the boy Stephen Vesci.
What up?
And indisposed for this evening is the man, Stephen Comlow. He's taking care of some business.
TCB.
Yep. Allegedly, he will be back next week, though. Again, allegedly. Before we get into our show for this evening, just a reminder to follow us on all of our socials. That's on X, Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, TikTok, Snapchat, and Threads at WCME_sports. Our episodes, they drop every Wednesday at noon on Spotify, YouTube, and iHeartRadio. And I believe streaming live as well on Twitch each time, right, boy?
Yes, we are.
Yes.
That's correct.
All this information can be found on our website, WCMEsports.com. Now, without further ado, we get into our top catch for this evening. And we're going to start with the playoffs. And we're going to turn our attention to the NBA playoffs. For the Eastern and Western Conference Finals, we were talking before the show, feels like the Eastern Conference Finals series, which is the Pacers and the Knicks, has been the best series of all four, counting the NBA and NHL series so far. So we're going to start there. Right, going to go back to Game 1 of last week at Madison Square Garden. Down 9 with under a minute remaining, the Pacers were able to force OT on Tyrese Halliburton's miracle jumper at the buzzer, and then went on to win in OT 138-135 to take Game 1 on the road. Boy, I don't know if you saw the shot.
I saw the shot, yeah.
That is asinine.
Yeah, every time I look at that, and I still go, how does this go in?
Yes, you could watch that 100 times and each time be like, that's not going in.
The trajectory, like all of it, I'm like, there's no chance. There's no chance it's going in. And then just clank.
And just plops right in.
That went up 15 feet.
Oh, yeah. Time stood still while that ball was in the air. And one of the crazier parts, too, is that was actually for the win. He was like a couple inches.
Yeah, he was
like
right
his
on
foot
the
was
line.
on the line. And so if that would have been a 3, that would have been for the outright win, which might have been even more bonkers. But crazy stuff there. You don't see comebacks like that ever in the pros, regardless of playoffs or not. Even if you're playing like the garbage Zards, right?
They've done, but Indiana's done this multiple times now in these playoffs.
Yeah, I saw some stat. I don't know how much or how real a stat is, but it was like since 95-96 in the playoffs, when a team is trailing by 7 or more with 50 seconds left, teams are 4 and like 1,702. And 3 of those 4 wins are from the Pacers this year.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't know what the one was. I couldn't find that, who the other team was to do it in the last whatever those like 30 years. But that is a crazy thing that, you know, this is part of their DNA, right? The cardiac Pacers, whatever you want to call them. Well, I guess a pacer is something that you would use in your heart to help you. So maybe that is just it.
What is the pacing Pacers? The pacing car? Is that what it is?
That's not a bad thing there.
You're in Indianapolis.
Yeah, it could be. I don't know. That's something to look for, because I look up.
Like you set the pace, right?
Yeah.
It's a racing thing.
They were a former ABA team, I believe. The Pacers were. I thought they were one of the ones that merged. So maybe there's some.
Their like nicknames goofier. I mean, Flint Tropics.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. The Virginia Squires, right? You got some stuff going on there. I don't know. But then after the Knicks dropped Game 2 as well at home, they erased a 20-point first-half deficit in Game 3 thanks to 24 points and 15 boards from Karl Anthony Towns, and that made them get on the board with a 106-100 win in Indy on Sunday. So that series at 2-1. Pacers, you got to think the Knicks have to win Game 4 as well, just the way things go in this, right? If they would go down 3-1, yes, they're going back home, but you got to think that, I don't know, that'd be such a hard hill to climb, especially the team that's playing so well in the Pacers, and a team that is so hard to put away.
Yeah, that's the issue, is they're so hard to put away. I don't know if it's like do or die yet, because obviously you're not going home if you lose, but you get the home court advantage for the next one. If you go 3-2 and now the pressure's really on Indiana and you can go in there and steal one, and now it's, you know, winner take all. I don't know. I don't think it's the end of the world if they lose.
Okay. I think it's because of the way
your desperation and urgency is amped up. But
because it's the Knicks, the pressure that comes with that, right?
It might be more difficult to play at home if you're them. It's almost like the Maple Leafs that we were talking about, right?
Yeah, no,
The pressure put on them. It might be, maybe you're right. Maybe they have to win on the road in this because the pressure at home is so ridiculous that if you're down 3-1, right?
Yes. No, I agree. I think if they're able to take this game 4, that this series goes the distance. Because I don't see any.
They're too evenly
quit.
matched.
Yeah, they're
right?
two teams that won't quit either, right?
I mean, speaking right now, they're tied. They're tied halfway through the second. By the way, 51-51 halfway through the second. Jesus.
There's either some bad shooting or
scoring,
some good defense.
I thought that was high scoring.
Well, I mean, if that was the halftime score, two teams on pace for 102.
There's another 8 minutes left in the second quarter.
It's still, you never know. People go on runs. Basketball's a game of runs. It really is.
It's. I feel like in the NBA, it's kind of always been like that, but these playoffs feel like it's way more of that than typical.
I think it's more the nature of how we play basketball now with how many threes we take. Because that extra point is exponential in terms of, the run you go on.
It
right?
is. I make really hard
2-pointers, 4 versus 2 3-pointers, 6. That's a whole extra bucket that I got from one less shot.
Yeah.
Like that.
When I was watching that Pacers comeback, like I was going, bouncing back and forth with hockey and stuff, kind of in and out of watching that game. And I did notice it's because of the short shot clock and the way these teams are like designed to basically shoot threes and shoot open shots whenever you have them. It's hard to salt away a win.
Oh yeah, no lead is safe.
You have to keep scoring. You have to continue to be on. I watched like 3 threes missed by the Knicks and 3 made by the Pacers. I'm like, that closed in 30 seconds.
Yeah, because the other issue too is you say, oh, well, instead of taking these series, why don't you take more higher percentage shots? But the way, like how big guys are, the way guys play, there's no such thing as like especially in the playoffs, a higher percentage shot. The higher percentage shot is kicking it out for a 3.
Right, yeah.
And
these guys are so
like,
good. These guys are so good. That's not a bad shot.
No, it's not. Whereas in college, you would say that's probably not the best shot you could take. You want to get to the hoop, draw contact, do the other things like you said.
These guys get hammered. I've noticed that a lot of people think like the NBA players, like, you can't touch anybody because of the way like and Brunson kind of flail their body a little bit. You can't touch anybody. Like, I'm watching a lot of guys get destroyed.
Yeah,
going to the lane and there's no call and there's no calls. But I'm like, what?
I think some of it, like when you do slow it down, sometimes it looks worse because of how fast they're going. Right, when I'm going so fast and I hit Isaiah Hartenstein, who's just a brick wall there, I'm gonna fall.
Well, I want to get the obvious, right? I mean, at the end of that Pacers game, I forget who was throwing a dunk down to go up 3 at like in the last like few seconds, and he got whacked,
hammered. Yeah. So
and I was like, how'd you miss that?
Yeah, they didn't call it.
There's 2 people, and you don't call that, like, but you'll call like a flail or something. But I don't know how you miss that, especially in that moment. Like, all eyes are right there. Like, and that wasn't obvious. It wasn't like it was like, but no harm, no foul, kind of walk away. That felt like, holy shit. Like, dude got hammered.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, sometimes as an official, right, you almost assume when you shouldn't that he's going to make that call. And maybe they both assumed the other person was going to make the call and didn't. Maybe it's because whoever's making that dunk, they don't need the extra point on their stats, so they didn't call it. Like, unfortunately, the precedent for that, like you can't give the benefit of the doubt over those things after like the whole. I mean, several things have come out about things like of that nature with officials, unfortunately. So you never know. But I think it's just I think it was more the other person assumed that person was going to make the call, so they kind of just looked at each other, looked at the clock, didn't think anything of it, and went on their way.
That would have made that free throw being made would have literally iced the game.
I think it would have been one of those two. If he had missed it, they would have blown their whistle afterwards.
Refs do that,
insane because that
pisses me off so much.
It's a foul. A foul's a foul, regardless of the result of the attempt.
Heard analysts in college basketball who have talked to referees about this say, "Oh yeah, the ref will wait." Like, who decided this was the way we wanted to do it? Because they've been doing it for a long time, and it always, as 2 people who played basketball and ref basketball, it bothered the hell out of us that people would do this. I would never do that. If it's a foul, it's a foul. If it's not, it's not. I'm not gonna wait for it to roll off the rim and go, you know what, foul.
Yeah, that's not how it works. It's not, unless there's some rule there where it's like, oh, that I'm not aware of, that says, oh, if someone gets fouled and they make the shot, you don't have to call it. That's not a thing. So I wonder if that played into it too, of that dunk attempt late.
It
I know
may
the one
have.
you're
It very
talking
well
about.
may have. Yeah.
Moving on to the Western Conference Finals, you have the Thunder versus the Wolves. After the Wolves blew the doors off of OKC in Game 3 to get on the board in that series. Actually, it was Game 2, wasn't it? Sorry, my notes might be wrong. The Thunder survived a late flurry of threes from Minnesota to take Game 3 in Minneapolis, 128-126. And what are they at, a 2-1 series lead?
Yes.
Okay,
I believe so. Let me make sure we.
Yeah, make sure. For whatever reason, I have that game already, or that series already through 4 games.
They're through 4 games.
Is that right? Why am I second guessing myself?
I'm second guessing myself. It's 3-1.
Okay, so I was right then. My notes are always right. What am I talking about? Yes, OKC took the first 2 games in Oklahoma City. Minnesota took Game 3 in Minneapolis. Then Game 4 they dropped it. OKC is up 3-1 in that series and looking like the better team.
100%.
Their defense is phenomenal. They were arguably the best defensive team in the league this year, so this shouldn't come as a surprise to people. The surprise is that they probably were shown on TV maybe twice all year, because
this is the best team.
Even though it's the best team in the league,
them and Cleveland were the 2 best teams in the league this year, right?
So they were. That's why you may not know it, but
I mean, Minnesota's barely got in the playoffs, right?
They were the 6th seed, but they had a late push to get out of the play-in.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So they underperformed this year
a little bit compared to what their expectations were, because last year, right, they were 2 seed, I believe, went to the Western Conference Finals last year as well. So, I mean, I would say at this point it's not underperforming because they made it back to where they got to.
Correct.
Last year.
During the season, they underperformed where their seeding was, and you would expect them to be in the top 3 is what I would have thought.
But yeah, OKC's defense, like SGA, one thing that he does not get enough credit for is how good of a defender he is. Jalen Williams, I believe is his name, the wing guard, great defender. Lou Dort, great defender. They got Alex Caruso, great defender. All these guys out there are extremely good on-ball defenders. And you would say their weakness might be inside, because Holmgren's not like the biggest body. He's not thick, but in the age of which we play, again, like we talked about with shooting threes, perimeter game, it's not as big of a deal anymore. And if they needed to,
barrel in through his chest,
if they need to, they can put Hartenstein in, who can handle Gobert and anyone else down low that they throw at you. So they've got bases covered. They looking good. I give Minnesota a chance to come back because of Anthony Edwards, but if they don't figure out a way for him to get more involved shooting, you know what I'm saying, more involved getting the ball in the hoop from his point of his perspective, as opposed to him trying to create.
Yeah, right. Yep.
They can come back.
You need to create for him.
Yes.
By the way, Oklahoma City, I'm looking at their roster. They have 2 Jalen Williams. One spells his name Jalen. The other one spells his name Jaylin. One's from Santa Clara, one's from Arkansas. I don't know which Jalen Williams you were talking about.
I thought it was the one Jalen. I thought it was the one I was talking about.
6'5" guard from Santa Clara.
Sounds right. Normally I'm all on that, but I think that's him.
He averaged 22 a game.
Yeah, that's him.
That's him.
He might fall into that realm of best player you've never heard of type of
100%, because I've never heard of him.
And he's fantastic.
He just dropped 34 in the last game. Played 39 minutes.
And again, elite defender, has a case to be the best on-ball defender in the league. I know Dyson Daniels, I think in Atlanta, might have some say in that. But yeah, Jalen Williams is an elite player. Like, he's the type of guy that is he from America? Is he American? The type of guy that the U.S. should have on their national team every time.
Let me check his bio here. I see his college.
Because he may not be
Arizona.
Okay. Just want to check, because SGA is Canadian, right? So you just want to make sure he'd play for our team. But yeah, he's the type of guy that should be on the U.S. national team. can do everything you want, is a willing defender, is a great defender,
sits in that role,
is not going to get upset because he didn't get X number of shots on an all-star team like that, right? He's the type of guy you want. So it'd be interesting to see the next time we have organized basketball where the best guys play if he's getting the call up to that. Because I really think he's that type of impact player that the U.S. desperately needs because, yes, we got gold last year, but they had Drew Holiday and Derek White on that team. And I think he fits the mold of those guys, and you need a couple of them. It cannot just be let's look down at who are the 15 best players in the world. You have to
it doesn't
go.
work that way anymore, right?
Doesn't no. Yeah, you have to go with
The world is
like
caught
him.
up to the world is the talent level
Yes.
of the United States, right? You can look at Canada has a all-star team that's insane. So is the French. Spain's always been good,
and now the Serbs.
Yep.
Who are fanatic about their showers, I hear.
Not from the footage I've seen.
But no, you're right. Nowadays, you definitely need a few Jalen Williamses on your roster if you're going to compete internationally. The Germans, they got guys like Dennis Schroeder who fit that bill, right? Who cause havoc, things like that. So you need that out there, and I think that's no coincidence that he's right in the middle of their success, right? Yes, SGA will get all of the headlines, and rightfully so. He won MVP, should have won MVP, in my opinion. So you get that, but you need the Jalen Williamses of the world to step up if you're going to win championships. That's just how it goes. Moving on to the NHL. In the Eastern Conference, you have the defending champion Florida Panthers taking on the Carolina Hurricanes. The Hurricanes snapped a 15-game Eastern Conference final losing streak to stave off elimination against the Panthers as Freddie Anderson pitched a 3-0 shutout Monday night. So Florida is up 3-1 in that series. That 15-game Eastern Conference Finals losing streak is insane. The last time they won in the conference finals was when they won the Stanley Cup with Rod the Bod Brindamore, their current head coach. He scored the game-winning goal in Game 7 of that series, I think against the Sabres in 6, I believe. They've been swept out of every Eastern Conference Finals they've been to since then.
Yeah. So hang the banner. Good for them. They scored. They won a game.
Yep. Hey, it's baby steps. You gotta crawl before you walk.
It does happen. I was thinking about it too. It does happen. Like these series can flip fast because of who has home, like where the next game is, right? I mean that last game was in Florida. Like you Carolina takes one from them. It's 3-1.
Back home.
They go back home where they've been great at home.
Yes.
In this playoffs. Let's say you win that one again, and now all of a sudden there's a lot of pressure, right? It happens really fast. I don't think that's gonna happen. I think Florida's winning the next game and winning the series in 5. But you know, it can happen really quick. But I also did say, one, we all thought this was going to be a long series. But I did say I love Carolina, and I love the way they play. And they felt very similar to Florida in their style of play, but Florida was more talented. And you guys thought I was stupid.
I wouldn't say that. I thought they were more talented. I just thought this was the Canes' year. Right. I saw an amazing Paul Maurice quote, the head coach of the Panthers. They asked him about his team and about how a lot of ways they are, in a word, very ratty on the ice, chippy, all that stuff, but yet very composed in certain situations and composed when talking. Like they're not like brash when they talk to the media or give interviews, right? It's not like it's almost like there's two different people there. So they asked him about it, and his response was, well, it's like shotgunning a beer. You wouldn't shotgun a beer in church. You know, you'd wait to do that somewhere else. So there's a time and a place for everything. You know, you got to find the right time to shotgun a beer. And that's what our team is like. Or something around that. I'm paraphrasing, of course, but it was about that. And it was beautiful.
Great.
And it made me want to go shotgun a beer then.
You want to shotgun a beer? Do you have one?
No.
I don't have any cans.
No, I don't.
Plum out.
Yeah, I don't.
Memorial Day weekend took all the beer out of me.
Yeah, no, don't. But that would have been nice to be able to do that. But yeah, Florida, they look like a machine. You said it earlier in the playoffs, but very much so machine-like and methodical in the way they just break you down.
There's never, even their bad games, like yesterday, right? They couldn't get the puck in the net. Like even on their bad games, and it happened in the previous series too. They're still right there, and they're still doing all the little things, everything, but the puck, just doesn't bounce your way certain games, right? That happens. That's why I really like this Florida team, is that they're always in it. Mentally, physically, they're always in the game. But you can't say that about any other team. I mean, how many times have they blown out teams in hockey? That doesn't happen in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, it doesn't.
They are relentless and they're always there. And just some games like the last game, you have some bad luck. I mean, the Leafs game, there was, remember, like game 6 that they lost or whatever. Like they were right, they were the better team, but their pucks like just kept hit. Like the Leafs were stepping in front of a lot of pucks, and like some of those that were going, those are smoother passes. All 6 of the other games or whatever, just got caught up and the Leafs won it. But I love watching a team that even when it's a bad day, they're still in it mentally.
I always have a chance to win. Well coached, well disciplined, tough, and
players.
There's a lot
players
of
buy into it and they lead it too. Like it all works because like you can have the best coach, you can have like the right fit for your guys, but your players also have to be the ones to push and to bring everyone together. Right. I thought the Marchand deal was fantastic. Right. He fits perfectly right into him. Like I don't even look at, like, I'm looking at him like the second he went to Florida, like, oh, I look so weird without a Boston sweater on, right? Now it doesn't.
Very much it. No, you're right.
Now
you're right. Now it doesn't.
He was the first to ever. I mean, we talked about that Leafs series, that Game 7. He was the first to every single puck.
Yes,
he's 35, 37 years old, something like that.
It's just what he does. I mean,
that's exactly.
He's going to be in the Hall of Fame. That's why he's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, 100%. And that's the way Florida plays. Like that forecheck is a thing of beauty.
Forecheck, back check.
Yeah, there you go.
The way. Yeah, I've been reading some stuff about like Panthers fatigue and like how people hate them and the league favors them, which I don't. Am I missing something?
This is the same shit
that crap.
No, like, this is the same shit in every sport. We love those teams, right? Because we appreciate the sports and appreciate like how the sport is played, how every sport is played, and how difficult it is, and how these things work. The writers, the journalists, or whatever in the media, and the average fan. Yeah, I'm trying to change the narrative.
Yeah.
The average person says, I don't want to watch the same team again. I don't want to do this again. Like, it's not, where's the dunks, right? Where's the high flying team or whatever? Like, that's why the NBA became trash, right?
Oh, because that's not what wins.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know, this happens in every
level
sport.
In any sport. That's not what wins.
Yeah, whenever a team does this, everyone hated the Patriot dynasty with how they won.
They cheated.
Ain't trying. I don't know.
But
but everybody hates the Chiefs.
But my thing is, this isn't a dynasty.
No, it's not.
They've been to what? Three
win.
Straight Eastern Conference Finals.
You gotta win.
Three straight Eastern Conference Finals. They won 1 Stanley Cup.
Even if you win,
not a dynasty.
If you win the second, you need 3.
You need 3. Yeah, because are the
you need to get back. You need to get back to the third, right?
But do the Lightning count as a dynasty for what they went through? They won 2 Stanley Cups. They won back-to-back Stanley Cups, and they were in the finals like basically every year.
It's not outside that. No, because it doesn't feel. It's a dynasty's a win.
Okay, right? The Lightning feels like it's a good run.
That's exactly what it is. Yep.
You're right. You got to get
right when you said that too. Like right when you said, "Does it feel like a dynasty?" And you named, well, they got to the they got to the Stanley Cup Finals multiple times, but you need 3.
Right? You need 3 in there.
Wins.
Yes.
Right. We don't call the Buffalo Bills a dynasty because they went to the Super Bowl 4 straight times. Right.
And lost all 4.
Which is
right, almost harder than winning one of them.
It feels like it, but we never say the Buffalo Bills were a dynasty.
No.
You got to win 3.
I agree. I
would say that counts as dynasty.
Right.
We're seeing the best team on an amazing run. Right. If they win 2, amazing run. If they win 3, dynasty. They get there again, amazing run.
Yeah. No, I'm good with that. I tend to lean that way as well when talking about them. So that's why. Yeah, I don't understand this like Panthers fatigue and like complaining because it's like, do you people not remember what this franchise was?
It was awful
6 years ago for 30 years or whatever, 25, 30 years of their existence was an embarrassment. So why are we not like happy that right? You want every franchise to be competent. You want every franchise to strive to succeed in a positive way, right? That's good for the sport. It's good for every sport. So why
it should raise the level of Florida
that our hockey purists say we don't give a crap. They shouldn't succeed because of where they are, and we want them to always be put down. I would argue that might play a part into it.
Yeah,
is that if this were The
Toronto.
Montreal Canadiens. You wouldn't be hearing it.
No.
Or
Uh,
if this were Edmonton.
I got
Were
something to
people
say
saying
about
they were
that.
sick of Gretzky?
I got something to say about that.
Did we just offend the 40, 50 million people that live in Canada again?
Oh, you bunch of hosers.
Yeah, we probably did.
Sure sound American. Paying with American currency, no please or thank you, and you didn't ask about the Leafs game?
Yeah. Defending yourself even though you're obviously wrong, an American. Moving on.
I mean, we're going to get a rematch of last year, most likely.
Yes, that's moving on to the Western Conference Finals. You have the Oilers and the Stars meeting for the third straight year? I think second straight year in the Western Conference Finals. The Stars scored 5 times in the third period of Game 1, including 3 straight power play goals to take the series opener 6-3 in Big D. But then after Stuart Skinner recorded his third shutout of this postseason, that 3-0 Edmonton win in Game 2, he backed that up with a dominant 6-1 Oilers victory in Game 3 Sunday, as Edmonton took a 2-1 series lead going into Game 4 in North Canada. It does feel like that, right? As much as we said this, the Stars, top to bottom, I would say is a better roster. Right. It feels like Edmonton's going to pull this out.
Edmonton looks like the better team right now. I mean, very much so. They are fast.
Well, they've got the fastest man on earth on
skates. I know, but it's not just him. I'm watching them skate around everyone. I mean, their offensive skill and speed is incredible. Like they almost feel like this year they're playing defense with their offense, if that makes sense. They're pushing.
You won't score because we have the puck, and we're going to be
exactly, and we're
going
to push down your throat nonstop, right?
But
it's not like because I always want to compare it to Ole Miss football and Alabama basketball, but it's not. It doesn't feel like that because I feel like they're controlling the zone. They're controlling the pressure on you, and I'm not seeing wide open. Like Dallas is also scoring 5. Like it's not like each of these is a 6-5 game. Like I feel like Edmonton's just been in control in all of these.
Yeah, I feel like just pure defensively they've played better.
Yeah, they're in the right spots.
Stuart Skinner, I think I saw some stat. It was like career during like the first 2 rounds of the playoffs versus the last 2 rounds. It's like a different man. So maybe we're seeing playoff Stu, right?
But they also they need to stay out of the penalty box, right? That comeback in Game 1. Mm-hmm. Right, was that Game 1?
Mm-hmm.
Or Game 2 or whatever.
That was Game 1.
Game 1. That comeback happened because of 3 straight bad penalties. They were all penalties, but they were just dumb penalties. And then for the most part, I feel like they've stayed out of it. And now, right now, I'm watching Dallas on a power play that Edmonton looks like they're the ones in control.
Yeah, no, it is interesting. You're right. They look like they're on the front foot. They're controlling what's happening.
That's what it is on their front foot.
They're dictating pace. They're dictating situations.
They're dictating where you go, right? They want, they're jumping lanes. They're jumping past, but they're passing lanes, but they're doing it smartly.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I saw with Florida in their forecheck, right? Florida jumps the passing lane on their forecheck, which is why they're able to keep the puck in so much. And I'm watching Edmonton kind of do a very similar thing, but it's not necessarily in the forecheck. It's kind of just like defensively that they're doing it. Yeah, it's.
Would you say that a rematch of last year's Stanley Cup is good for hockey?
I mean, anytime you have McDavid in it, it's good. And he's against Tkachuk. Tkachuk's a guy people love to hate, right? He brings some eyeballs. The physical play of Florida versus the speed and skill of Edmonton, and the greatest player on the planet right now, and the greatest and the best goal scorer currently, right? During the last couple years, Draisaitl, I want to watch that.
No, I agree. I think that would be fun to watch because
watching the 2 best teams also. That's kind of where I go. Sometimes there's series that get to the final and you go, yeah, but were these the 2 best teams? Did they kind of luck their way into the final? I know there's still best of 7s, but did they kind of get there with someone got injured or something or whatever it is, and they kind of got running on a roll there? But to me,
got a hot goalie at the right time, right, and the team's really not that good, but the goalie caught on fire and they rode him.
But to me, I think it's feels undeniable. The way these teams have been playing in these conference finals, right? You're seeing that they're the two best teams.
Yeah, no, they do. They look like a collision course is inevitable. But again, like you said, it's a best of 7 series both ways. It's a long way to go. The Stars and the Canes are both really, really good teams. Very well coached teams as well. You never know. Stranger things have happened. In hockey, it's 4 times, I believe, that teams come back from a 3-0 deficit in the playoffs and won. I think most recently was the Flyers against the Bruins. Or was it the Bruins against the Bruins over the Flyers? It was the Flyers-Bruins series. I think it was Philly over Boston about a dozen or so years ago. But yeah, it feels inevitable, but you never know. It's the playoffs. Things happen.
Yeah,
Crazier things have
can
happened.
change.
We could
very,
get a
very
Stars,
fast.
a Dallas, Carolina series. But yeah, as it stands right now, I wouldn't mind a rematch. I think that'd be a cool storyline, especially like you said, you got McDavid, you got the McDavid storyline of him getting his first cup, Canada getting its first cup since when I was born, something like that, maybe before I was born. At this point,
yeah.
Whenever the Canadiens beat Barry Melrose in the Kings, right? So cool stuff to look for. Moving on Sunday this past week, we had we call the biggest day in racing worldwide, because you had Monaco in the morning over here in the States. Then you had the Indy 500 midday. Then at night you had the Coca-Cola 600 for NASCAR. So you're going to start in Monaco. Right? Lando Norris claimed his second victory of the season at the Monaco Grand Prix. Monaco's own Charles Leclerc finished second at his home Grand Prix. I believe Lando Norris is now second in points behind teammate Oscar Piastri. I think he's only about 3 points behind him in the Formula 1 standings.
Apparently, I was listening to Darius Butler on Pat McAfee's show. He said he watched it. He said it sucked to watch. He said that all the top 4 never, like, they led from start to finish. Like he said, it's too tight. It's too tight to pass. Like the racetrack and everything is too small, so no one passes.
But that's how many Formula 1 races are.
That sucks.
Yeah, Formula 1 is a scam. But hey, check out the movie. The movie looks sweet. Brad Pitt. Moving on to the Indianapolis 500. 3-time IndyCar champion Alex Palou won his first ever Indy 500 with a pass of Marcus Ericsson with about 15 laps remaining. The 2-time defending IndyCar champ became the first Spaniard to win the race ever, which was
Spaniard,
and kind of cool. Now to the Coca-Cola 600, Ross Chastain, who is an 8th generation watermelon farmer, by the way.
Where's he from?
Florida, I think.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, he passed William Byron with 5 laps remaining to win his first crown jewel event of his career at the Coca-Cola 600 in Charlotte Sunday evening. Chastain became the first driver at the Coke 600 to start dead last, 40th, and come back and win that event. He's the first driver to win a race after starting in the official last position since Bobby Allison at Richmond in 1969. Chastain started dead ass last and came back and won.
I'm amazed that's the first one since 1969.
Was at the Richmond Fairgrounds. I don't even think it was at the track that we currently go to.
So that doesn't exist anymore.
Probably not. 1969. Hasn't happened since then. Isn't that remarkable?
Yeah, that's bonkers.
And again, he's an 8th generation watermelon farmer. Every time he wins a race, he gets on top of his car with a giant watermelon and smashes it on the track. It's awesome.
That's great.
Yes.
Showmanship.
Good for Ross Chastain. Good for Trackhouse Racing. Smaller team there.
I was going to say, who is Trackhouse? Who owns that?
No idea. They're not a big time team.
Yeah. It's not a Roush or Gibbs or
Hendrick.
Jordan.
Yeah. No, they're a small team just trying to hang on. So very cool for them. What I did not like is that you could only watch that race streaming on Prime Video.
Is that why I didn't see it?
Yes. I was sitting there on the couch distraught. I was like, what the hell? I wanted to watch what happens here, right? This is the racing day. Where is this race? What is going on here? Looked it up. Only on Prime. You got to be kidding me.
Big miss. I don't understand that.
I mean, it's the way things are going. The thought process behind it, I'm sure, from these companies is, well, you get people who want to watch it. If there's nothing else on, you've got viewership done. They're not going to change the channel because it's so inconvenient to go to watch something else that they're just going to stay and watch it. So now you have these viewers hooked. on your product.
I get it. Yeah, NFL does it for the Thursday night games. You can't flip back and forth between the college game because you're on that
They
platform,
got you trapped.
which is, I mean, I understand that, except it's actually caused me not to watch the NFL game because I don't want to do that. So a lot of times, unless it's the Steelers, because my wife's a huge Steelers fan, so we have to watch that game. Unless it's them playing, I'm not watching the NFL game. I'm watching the college game and flipping to like Food Network or some shit during commercials.
No, absolutely. I 100% agree with you. I'm not doing it. It's too much trouble.
Miss. Yeah. I don't, and your NASCAR fans, I guarantee you, were probably sitting there like, where the fuck's my race?
Yeah, but at the same time, though, again, if you're a
the
NASCAR
diehards
fan,
know it's going to be on Prime.
yeah, no, I mean it's the same thing when like if a Notre Dame game is on Peacock, those Notre Dame fans are going to purchase Peacock for some length of time to watch that one game on Peacock. So it's frustrating because it feels like the company's just taking advantage of the system to milk money out of the consumer when they don't need to. But at the same time,
Still capitalism.
no one in the history of money has ever said,
I have enough, or I'm
I mean,
going to turn down.
Bill Gates is the one person who's ever said it. Besides Bill Gates, no one else in the history of money has ever said, I have enough money. So it's hard to be frustrated with good economics in that sense, right? Of note, Kyle Larson attempted to complete the double for the second straight year, which is running in the Indy 500 and the Coca-Cola 600 on the same day. He couldn't accomplish it last year because of storms that delayed the Indy 500 so much that he missed the start of the Coca-Cola 600, and storms came through there and delayed that as well last year. But this year he had a chance. However, he wrecked in both races, did not finish in either race. One in the IndyCar one, he wasn't even touched. He just lost control about halfway through the race.
I wonder what that's like for him because he's like, I mean, he's a NASCAR driver first, right? Mm-hmm. I don't know how often he gets in an IndyCar or how often he practices or whatever, but I wonder how big of a difference is when you start losing a little bit of control in an IndyCar versus losing a little bit of control in NASCAR.
And knowing this is how I recover in the NASCAR car. But this won't work to recover in an IndyCar.
Right. Because of something, or it just moves just that much more or that much less.
And I think in a NASCAR car, you can push it a little more because it's more big, right? You have more room for error there because of the weight that's involved. I got to think a NASCAR car weighs more than an Indy car.
And the speed you're going is less.
Right? But he's the type of driver that will push it. He's been successful because he pushes the envelopes. He's a go big or go home type of driver. So, it was a possibility, but it stunk. Didn't like to see that. At least he wasn't the guy who wrecked on the warm-up lap, the pace lap. Did you see that?
No. In which one? The Coca-Cola?
No, the Indy 500. A dude didn't even make it to the start. They're going through the pace lap and he wrecks. Done.
How does that happen? Did he try to like warm up the tires a little too much and went into the wall? Like what happened?
I didn't see the footage. That was the first crazy thing from that race was that. And the second thing was you had a guy catch on fire in the pit crew. Alexander Rossi, he's going around the track and he sees some smoke. So they say, "Oh, go to the pit." Goes to the pit. They give him more fuel. They shove the fuel hose in there. Well, that catches fire. You literally see the flames come out of it like a movie and catches the guy on fire. He jumps over the wall, and these people all come out spraying stuff. The car's done, right? It's a whole mess. So you had that happen, and you had the guy crash before the race even started. So it was had everything. Tom was there, got booed.
I don't know why was hell. What was the point of having him there besides having him get booed?
That I don't know. Derek Jeter and A-Rod gave the starting commands or whatever.
Okay.
Luckily, Mark Wahlberg wasn't there, so Derek Jeter didn't get shot coming through the tunnel. Dick shot me. I'm Derek Jeter.
We're thinking every night. October in the Bronx.
Yeah, no, a lot of good stuff happening there. I want to say it was the most watched Indy 500 ever.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. I also didn't realize when these guys started to pit, they did a really good job explaining these guys started to pit around between laps 28 and 35 or 28 and 35 left to go. There was 170-ish, lap 170. they did a really good job explaining like this guy, like he's not gonna make it. Like some guy came in at like lap 34, like he's not in contention anymore. Like he needed 3 more laps because he's gonna run out of fuel. His tires are gonna be gone. And I was like, really? And it was like literally like you had to come in like under that 30 mark. Like that was like the magic number, was to have enough fuel and to have your tires be good enough. That seems like I don't know what it is in NASCAR, but man, that seems like not a lot of like
It's not again. Then a
laps.
NASCAR car is different, right? I think the Indy cars are used in softer tires normally, right? To get more of that speed, I believe you need those softer tires than you have in a NASCAR.
But that also shows you like how different they are, and like when you do have those bald tires, like how do you
No, it is.
drive with that compared to your NASCAR ball tires, right?
And then when you compare it to F1, the way their races are, you might pit once,
Right.
do one pit. It's kind of that's why F1's not as I don't understand the hype around is because of the Netflix series. Let's be real, people have jumped on that because
Multiple like F1 things. I feel like Gran Turismo, was that an F1 thing? I feel like it was.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, they did a whole bunch of stuff. There was so much stuff in Gran Turismo. You're talking about the movie or the video game?
The movie.
Oh, I don't know. I didn't watch the movie.
I didn't watch the movie either.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's why some people say they like IndyCar better because IndyCar is a more of a blend between like the NASCAR and the F1. There's a lot of politics involved in F1 that aren't
Right. That's
there as
what.
much,
Yeah.
and other things. So yeah, anything else racing wise that you saw on the biggest
No,
day?
I think my guy Santino Ferrucci finished top 10 again in the Indy. He always has his Indy cars always decked out in the American flag. Sweet.
Santino, I like that. Where's he from?
I have to look at that. Santino Ferrucci. I feel like I looked it up.
Is he from like Maniscalco's neighborhood in Chicago?
Trying to filibuster here.
Do you know what that
American race? Yeah, filibuster.
Do you know what that word means? I'm sorry. Where did you go to law school? I could ask you the same thing. I went to Harvard.
He's from Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Woodbury.
Nice. That's going to bring us to our baseball segment, brought to you as always by Bobo's Fine Chicken in Virginia Beach. Visit them on Shore Drive near Chicks Beach for breakfast, lunch, and dinner Monday through Saturday for homemade sides and locally sourced chicken. Grab some on your way to the beach or a ball game. Bobo's and baseball, there ain't nothing better. I'm going to start with the Royals Twins series that happened this past weekend. I don't know if you saw it. 3 really, really good games from 2, I think, fairly evenly matched teams. On Friday, Ty France hit a walk-off 2-run homer in the bottom of the 9th to give the Twins a 3-1 victory over Kansas City. Then on Saturday, rookie Brooks Lee had the walk-off single for Minnesota in a 5-4 victory over the Royals. And then in the series finale, Maikel Garcia had the game-winning RBI single in the top of the 10th as Kansas City beat Minnesota 2-1 on Sunday. So, I mean, it was like a playoff series.
Yeah.
I mean, that's as good as you
can want
get
in the same division, right?
Yeah, and it's crazy that I think because the Tigers are playing so well, the Guardians are always good. I think this was teams 3 and 4 in that division. Like I think Casey's 4th in that division, and they're still a very good team. Both these teams are. Next, moving on, after Gavin Sheets hit a game-tying 2-run home run in the top of the 9th to force extras in Toronto. The two teams traded blows in the 10th before Dalton Varsho's game-tying triple and Nathan Luke's RBI single as the Blue Jays walked off the Padres 7-6 on Thursday. After the Braves tied the game in the top of the 9th, the Nats walked off Atlanta in 10 thanks to Ahmed Rosario's RBI single Thursday in D.C. William Contreras put Milwaukee up a run in the top of the 9th with his 5th long ball of the year before O'Neal Cruz tied the score and forced extras with his 2nd homer of the game in the bottom of the frame Friday night in Pittsburgh. Then in extra innings, the Brewers went up again in the top half of the 10th before the Pirates finally won for good as Adam Frazier scored on an Abner Uribe wild pitch to win the game 6-5.
Wasn't that O'Neal Cruz home run like the hardest hit ball in the StatCast era?
Yeah, I don't know if it was that first one in that game. It might have been. But yeah, since 2015, 22.9 miles per hour, he hit a home run, went into the Allegheny River.
How do you hit one? that hard.
What I
That's
like is
insane.
because it's him and Giancarlo Stanton of like the 5 or 6 highest hardest hit balls since they've tracked it. But like when you watch Stanton, he looks like he's hacking to hit the ball really hard.
Correct.
Cruz doesn't necessarily look that way.
Cruz is
He
like
looks like he's
twitchy.
swinging hard.
He's twitchy.
He looks like he's swinging hard, but you're right. It's like almost like a Jim Edmonds
It's
hard.
like length meets twitch and explosiveness.
Yeah.
Right.
Or,
it doesn't look like it is, but
like an Adam Dunn swing, you don't think that bat's coming through the zone as hard as it really is. But I bet if they had the technology to track Adam Dunn's bat speed, it was probably off the charts.
right.
The same like
and
his
also a huge part of it too is barrel.
Yes.
Right. You gotta hit that off the correct spot.
Yeah. Check. Does he have a torpedo bat? Let's just ban him. Let's make a big deal about that. No one said anything there.
I don't think he does.
Because I guarantee you, if it were a Yankee who hit that hardest hit ball, that'd be the first thing someone would say.
Probably.
Next,
I don't think
the Mets scored thrice in the bottom of the 9th Friday to force extras, punctuated by Tyrone Taylor's game-tying single. Then the two teams were held scoreless until the 13th inning when Teoscar Hernandez hit the go-ahead double for LA as the Dodgers eventually won 7-5 over New York on Friday night. And last, Max Kepler of the Phillies tied the game in the top of the 9th inning against the A's on Saturday with a solo homer. Then the Fightins scored 3 times in the top of the 11th to win 9-6 Sacramento against the Oakland, Sacramento, Las Vegas A's. Anything else baseball-wise before we move on?
Shohei just hit his 20th home run today. He's the first to 20 this year. Skubal pitched to Maddox with 13 Ks.
Oh, did he really? A complete game, under 100 pitches?
Under 100 pitches with 13 strikeouts.
That's pretty impressive. He
I think it
looks even better than he did last year.
Yeah, he's the best pitcher in baseball right now.
Yep. Best hitter in baseball is?
Judge.
Aaron Judge. If he retired at the end of the season, is he in the Hall of Fame?
Let me look a
There's
little
an
bit.
awful lot of bolded black lettering or numbering on his baseball reference page.
33 old.
Because if he retires
after this year, he'll probably be close to 370-ish home runs, 360-ish home runs.
3 MVPs, a Rookie of the Year.
Career OPS over 1,000. Or over 1, I guess. I don't know. No, I need one more year.
You need one more year.
Yeah, I need that 400. I need that 400 home run mark.
Look at Sandy Koufax, Ralph Kiner. Look up
yeah,
some of these.
It's not the same era, Nick. It's a different time.
It's not, but he compares.
He doesn't have. I mean, he's not even close to 1,000 RBI.
Ralph Kiner, I don't think ever got there.
His hits are at 1,100. No, I'm not.
162 game average, I think, is 51 homers over 162 games. He averages.
That's.
I want to say what his
ridiculous.
Career batting average is 294, something like that.
294, yeah.
So, the only other people no one has that.
Okay, you think he's all right? Well, you think he's a Hall of Famer if he's done this year? I would say I need one more year. I just like seeing the number. I don't know why.
Tell me the 3 MVPs and a Rookie of the Year, all those numbers that you would say he's not good enough to be in the Hall of Fame.
I'm not saying that.
Because I would say if you wanted to look through all the people,
I just want to see the accumulation of stats, because that's also a Hall of Fame thing is to accumulate your numbers.
It is, and at some point it isn't, depending on how dominant you are. Sandy Koufax has garbage accumulation stats.
Okay, well,
Joe Mauer's accumulation stats aren't that much.
Don Mattingly's not in.
Don Mattingly's not, but Don Mattingly also didn't wind up accumulating nearly as much as Judge has accumulated right now. As good as Don Mattingly was, he was not this good.
2,100 hits, over 1,000 RBI, 307 career average, OPS 829, over 1,000 runs, 222 home runs.
Don Mattingly was a great player, but
yeah, Judge's best seasons are still better than Mattingly, even though Mattingly had like a 4-year stretch
where he was the best player in.
Where he was 343, 23 and 110, 324, 35 and 145, 352, 31 and 113, 327, 30 and 115.
Yes.
And then it kind of
he got hurt.
Next 2 years were good, and then he fell off.
Hurt his back, and that was it.
Yeah. I mean, I I don't know. I just want to see one more year of Judge. I understand what you're saying. If he did retire,
Why does one more year make any
because I
difference?
want to
So
see the 400 home run mark.
but that's my point. Is why would one year should not make the difference between a Hall of Famer?
Okay.
Right? If you took Adrian Beltre, you took a year off Adrian Beltre, you're telling me he's not a Hall of Famer, right? You know, the 1
No,
year should not make a
yeah, I
difference.
get that.
It's about a lot of
But
other
there are
things.
some guys where it might make a difference.
Well,
There are some guys that
if you took like Judge's 62 home run year away and took his other 50 his rookie year away, oh yeah, then it looks different, right? That's a we're getting down the slippery slope of ifs and buts for candy and nuts.
There are some guys that barely reach the milestone they have to get to because they're just
but we've also found out the milestones are not as important anymore. Gary Sheffield's got 500 home runs, and that used to be all you get there, and he's done, I think, right? Not even on the ballot.
Does Aaron Judge feel like a Hall of Famer?
Then he is.
Sure.
Did Joe Mauer feel like a Hall of Famer to you and Joe Mauer?
Yes.
Did Joe Mauer feel like a better player to you than Aaron Judge?
No.
Then there's your answer.
Okay, fine.
Done. I rest my case. Lawyered. Moving on to some lacrosse. The college finals were this past weekend. They're always Memorial Day weekend. On the men's side, after being held scoreless for the first time in his career in Cornell's semifinal defeat of Penn State, CJ Kirst, the odds are T. Wharton Award winner this year, scored 6 times as the Big Reds secured their first NCAA championship since 1977 with a 13-10 victory over Maryland. Kirst's last goal, which was an empty netter, gave him 82 goals on the season, which tied the single-season goals record. Kirst already had the career goals scored record coming into this.
Who tie that record with? Would we know who?
I couldn't find it.
With?
I couldn't find that.
Just don't know it.
I don't know. You could look it up. I wasn't able to find. I was asking that same question myself as well. Yeah, I mean, he was the first overall pick. I want to say Philadelphia. The Water Dogs took him in the PLL draft. An absolute stud. Cornell, I want to say this is their 4th championship, but they won, they've only started doing lacrosse championships since 1971, I believe. So they won the inaugural one and won a few more, but then they went, 77 is a long time. This is one of the premier programs in the country. So good for Cornell. The number 1 team this whole year, only dropped 1 game this year. They very well deserving of that crown. Moving on to the women's side, which will take us to our Mimosa Minute this week, brought to you as always by Maine & Co., the creators of the modern mimosa. Follow them on Instagram at Maine_Co. and visit them at mainsip.com. That's MAYNESIP. To order your modern mimosas today. Maine & Co. championing women's athletics since 2020. UNC completed their undefeated campaign at 22-0 to win their program's 4th national title in a 12-8 victory over Northwestern. UNC coach Jenny Levy and her daughter Kate, who scored in that championship game, became the first mother-daughter duo to win the national championship, which I thought was kind of cool.
Sweet. Yeah.
Just they got other siblings there, so I forgot their last names, but one had 4 goals, the other had 4 assists. Their older sister played there before they got there. You got some good stuff going there for the Heels down there, and I don't mean Belichick and Jordan Hudson. I didn't see them there.
Chapel Bill.
Yeah. Even though this was in his old stomping grounds in Gillette Stadium in Foxborough, I did not see him there.
By the way, do you know where next year's lacrosse championship is?
It is at the University of Virginia in Charlottesville, Virginia, at Scott Stadium.
Yeah, we need to go.
I'm down. I would book a place there tomorrow if I could. I think you can 1 week less than a year out. You can book.
Okay.
So I think we have to wait till next week.
Start looking.
Oh, I would 100% go.
Yeah, I think.
Well, I don't care. I don't even care who's playing.
Yeah, neither do I. By the way, I have your men's single season goal leaders. There's actually a 3-way tie.
Really?
At 82
Is that why
goals.
I couldn't find it? Because it was not one person. They were like,
I think that's why.
We're not going to write these 2 other names.
John Reese from Yale in 1990. Also, the top 2 guys did it in 18 games. Kirst did in 19. I mean, doesn't really matter.
Do you
But
care about that?
no, I don't. But
I don't either.
they do have that on there. And then Miles Thompson from Albany, 2014.
Yeah, doesn't he have
It's a Great
a
Dane.
brother, Lyle Thompson? I think both played there.
He is Miles Thompson is Native American.
Yes, he is.
Did not know that.
Yeah, was it what does it go? It's not the Algonquin tribe. They call it, call it like a Four Nations or
he's from the Hawk clan of the Onondaga.
Yeah, but they're able to play as a national team in international competitions. Is what I'm trying to. They're like the only lacrosse is like the only sport where they have a national team for the tribes essentially. And when they do an international lacrosse competition, you'll have like a U.S. team, a Canadian team, then you have like 5 nations. Is that what they call it? I forget what they refer to it as, but they have their own team. Is the only sport where that exists, which is kind of cool.
Okay, yeah, that's pretty.
So
sweet.
yeah, that's why they denote that for lacrosse players, because that's separate from like American, Canadian. It's their own team that they would represent in an international competition. Moving on to Serie A, we talked about them, that the Italian soccer league, the highest level. Wish Kamo was here because he's a couple names that he would know. But we talked about how the end of the season, right, the last game was last Friday. Napoli entered the final game with a 1-point lead over Inter Milan. Napoli was playing Cagliari, and
like all the coaches
Inter was
kicked out or something.
playing Como. But thanks to goals from Scott McTominay and Romelu Lukaku, Napoli secured their second Serie A title in 3 years and their 4th overall with a 2-0 victory over Cagliari at home Friday night. The win was necessary for the Fighting Maradonas to claim the league because Inter Milan defeated 10-man Como 2-0 on Friday as well, and ultimately meant that the Nerazzurri finished a point out of the top spot in Serie A. So Napoli, and going to take a Napoli, they won. Pretty impressive stuff there. Those 2 names, McTominay and Lukaku, Kama would definitely know. I know you. I've
heard of Luka.
Those are, I want to say, 2 former Manchester United standouts. Antonio Conte's the coach of Napoli. We talked about that drama there where he got sent off in the previous game, so wasn't even on the bench for the victory. Good stuff there from Serie A. Yeah, the club season is over for now. We get into the soccer summer where you have the international competitions. You have the FIFA Club World Cup going to take place. So some good things to look forward to there. Anything else soccer-wise, boy?
Not really, but there is kind of fun, like with some of these sports where you're able to keep playing when your season's done and you play in like international stuff or whatever, like soccer.
Stuff,
yeah, meaningful stuff. Like soccer does it, hockey does it. Hockey to me blows my mind that these guys, they get done with a playoff series and then they go 3 days later go play for their like international team or something. Like what
you're referring to is the United States won the IIHF, so the International Ice Hockey Federation World Championships, defeating Switzerland, correct? Or was it Denmark?
I couldn't tell you.
One of those.
I just know we won.
Defeating them 1-0. Tage Thompson of Buffalo had the golden goal in the final to win the World's. Want to say it was the first time the U.S. had won the World since 1933.
Yeah, it was 92 years. Is that 92 years? I believe so.
1933, yeah, which is incredible. First thing that Zach Werenski of the Columbus Blue Jackets did is after they won, he went and grabbed a Johnny Gaudreau jersey to show it and take the pictures with, which was very apropos. And after the loss in the Four Nations final, where his jersey again was primarily displayed for good reason in the U.S. locker room, this felt like poetic justice. Yeah, you probably would have liked it to be over Canada, but they had gotten knocked out by, again, I think it's Switzerland. You got to double check me. I want to say it's Switzerland who knocked them out in that, but still pretty amazing. It is cool to see that. Even crazier that we hadn't brought one of those home in 92 years. But you're right, that bears mentioning before we get to a couple last segments. Moving on, that's going to take us to our favorites segment for this week, which is brought to you as always by One Legacy Title and Escrow in Jacksonville, Florida. Follow them on Instagram at OneLegacyFlorida and visit them at onelegacyflorida.com to see how they can help you with your next house closing. One Legacy title and escrow, because your legacy matters. And this week we went with our favorite baseball players, current baseball players under the age of 25. So basically our favorite young guns, favorite up and coming guys. It doesn't matter if they've been established or not. At varying levels, just our favorite guys under the age of 25. Boy, do you want to start?
Yeah, I like this one. This is basically showing us where MLB is, where the game of baseball is at the moment. I think it's in a great spot. A lot of athletes.
Yes.
Honorable mention, Corbin Carroll. I really like him. He had a tough year last year, but he's come back. He adjusted to the adjustment. He's just a fun watch. Fast, plays great defense. Doesn't have a good arm, but can hit home runs. Leadoff guy. I like Corbin Carroll a lot. Number 5. How about PCA? Pete Crow Armstrong. Phenomenal defender.
Yes.
And the bat's coming around. He is he's playing really good baseball right now. Number 4, Hunter Green has had to develop and is becoming an actual pitcher. He's been one of my favorite ones to watch progression wise over the course of his career. Number 3, Bobby Witt Jr. I could watch that dude play baseball all day. He's just a great hitter, great baseball player. Number 2, one of my favorite guys coming out of college, Wyatt Langford. Built like a linebacker. I love watching him run the bases. He's fun. He's got some pop. I think he's going to put it all together over the next couple years and be a force. And number 1, the Nolan Ryan of our generation, Paul Skeens. Absolute dominant. He's must see every time he takes the bump. He's what do you have, lines out over the river for his bobblehead? That's pretty cool. In Pittsburgh, where their team sucks.
Yeah. He reminds me of the late great Jose Fernandez. Where was Jose Day every time he pitched for the Miami Marlins? Like, it was must watch. He was electric.
Everyone goes to
everyone
that game
went to those games.
Yep.
Like, you talk about a garbage franchise, garbage team. It was, especially with him being Cuban or of Cuban descent. Fernandez was in Miami was such a big deal. It's extremely sad that he passed away the way he did. How young he was, but Skeens reminds me a little bit of that. Like, it doesn't matter the team, doesn't matter the franchise. It is electricity every time he steps on the bump, and you never know what you're gonna get.
I like that.
I had a couple honorable mentions. First one is Zach Neto, the shortstop for the Angels. I want to say he went 2020 last year, which is the quietest 2020 you'll ever hear. He's a good player. He really is. He got to the majors pretty quickly, has a high leg kick, kind of toned that down. He's become a very quality shortstop in the league. And, if he can continue to produce, has chances to make some all-star teams. I like Zach Neto in Anaheim. Hunter Green is my other honorable mention. Former two-way prospect at shortstop, I believe, and at pitcher. The hitting didn't come with it, so moved full-time to pitcher. Like you said, athlete. Like, he is a exceptional athlete out there on the bump. And it shows he's starting to come into his own. You hope he can get some more help there in Cincinnati. But, Terry Francona is his manager now. I don't know if you know that. He's the Reds manager. I wonder if
why
they're doing better. And
it's kind of fitting. Like, he's maturing naturally. Yeah. And you bring in Terry Francona, kind of, it all fits. That makes sense.
Yes. Number 5 for me, Jacob Wilson of the A's.
Yeah, I used just off my list.
The son of Pirates great Jack Wilson. He is the antithesis to the modern day hitter. Put the ball in play.
Yeah. He has a funky stance too.
Oh, I love it. It's Hunter Pensian, if you will.
Yes, it is.
And I want to say, coming into today, 12 walks to 11 strikeouts on the year. Rafael Devers struck out 11 times in his first 3 games, right? And he's still hitting for a high average, Jacob Wilson is, right? And you say the criticism, it's not enough walks. And it's like, well, Tony Gwynn, Wade Boggs didn't walk a lot, right? When you're putting the ball in play, you're not. Yeah, Wade Boggs, is that you're talking about? Not Tony Gwynn? Thank you.
I was talking about Wade Boggs.
Well, Tony Gwynn did pass away.
I do know. Yes, I do know that.
But when you put the ball in play, you're not going to walk a lot.
Correct.
Arise isn't sitting there taking walks. Vlad Guerrero Sr. wasn't taking walks. All of them hit for high average. Altuve's not taking a lot, has never took a lot of walks. High average guys, you put the barrel to the ball, good things happen. You put the ball in play, good things happen. And again, he's the complete opposite of everyone else who's out there, but yet he's succeeding. So I love that. Number 4 is Paul Skeens for all the reasons that you mentioned. He's must-watch TV every time we have a chance to, right? We've talked about the crime that is Major League Baseball coverage in our current media system. So you don't always, there's not a lot of chances to watch him unless you've got the MLB TV package. But anytime you get a chance to watch Paul Skeens, you need to do it. Number 3, Sal Frelick from.
Okay. Is he from UVA?
Boston College. Sal is a paisan from up north.
That makes way more sense. Why did I think he would ever be in Charlottesville, Virginia?
You talk about like the opposite of the prototypical hitter. His swing is so level. He's just a gamer. He's like a effort guy. But man, he always seems like he puts the ball in play hard, regardless of where it goes. And he has a lot more pop than he gets credit for because again, his swing isn't let me launch, angle it. It's like completely level. So I don't know. I love his swing. I love the way Sal Frelick plays. Number 3. Number 2 is PCA Pete Crow Armstrong. Another guy, I love his swing. It's simple, it's quick, and it's strong to the ball. Like you said, he's a great defender. He brings he's the potential, right, 5-tool player that they always talk about that everyone wants, right?
They've talked about his defense where, like, there will be, they put, like, catch probabilities on a lot of things now, and it'll be, like, what looks like a routine fly ball, like to the gap or something that, someone's got to run down a little bit. But then you look at the catch probability and it's say like 15%. And you go, really? And it's because Pete Crow Armstrong got such a great jump and he can absolutely fly and take the correct angles that he makes it look easy. He makes it look like it's a 99% catch probability when in reality it's like a 10 to 15%.
Yeah. Now, the interesting thing I learned about him, did you know his parents are both Hollywood actors?
The mom is in a Seinfeld episode, isn't she?
Is she really?
I want to say she is.
Gosh, how do I know? I would have to look this up. They when I looked them up in a rudimentary research, they're both in Heroes. If you remember that show, Save the Cheerleaders, Save the Planet, whatever, Heroes. Yeah. They were both in that show.
I need to figure it out because they kept showing her picture, and every time I saw her, I'm like, why does she look like she looks like she's the girl that Newman dated, but I don't know if she is.
No way. And Newman stopped seeing her. No way.
I don't think it is.
That would push him to number 1.
I know. I kept looking at it. And
he would jump up,
look it up,
but if I don't think that's true. He would think I would know that of all the stupid things I know.
That's what I thought. That's why I have to be wrong about it.
But number 1 is Bobby Witt Jr. I mean, if it weren't for Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani, the entire world would be talking about Bobby Witt Jr. He is, I would say, the 3rd best player in the league behind those guys, unless you want to throw pitchers in and get the slippery slope. But 3rd best position player outside of Judge and Ohtani, in my opinion. He is so good. He's able to produce in one of the most difficult ballparks to hit in Kauffman Stadium, even though as beautiful as it is and aesthetically pleasing as it is, able to produce. He is the reason they are doing well. As good as guys like Sal Perez and Vinny Pasquantino and Maikel Garcia and Bubik pitching wise, and all those other contributions that they get. Cole Reagans, that's the other pitcher. It's Bobby Witt. That's the reason, straight up, right? And to be able to legit carry an entire franchise is a really rare thing, and he's doing that.
Yeah, I mean, he's full-blown face of that franchise. Love it. By the way, Pete Crow Armstrong's mom, Ashley Crow, she's not in Seinfeld, so she's not the person I was thinking of there, but we have seen her in a sitcom before, a very well-known sitcom. Everybody Loves Raymond. She's Deborah's sister. Yeah.
Gosh, now I'm going to have to go back and look at that. Really?
The episode The Sister.
That's interesting.
Yep. Yep. That's her. She is. Yeah, she's
It's not
wanting to
quite.
become a nun.
Yeah, it's not quite Lucas Giolito's uncle being Susan's dad in Seinfeld, Mr. Ross. Did you know that?
Yeah, I did know that.
It's
Yes.
not. It's not quite that, but that's still pretty good. Anything else to add before we wrap this up, boy? All right, so that's going to bring us to our last segment, which is our What to Look For segment. Brought to you as always by VB Cookie Co. Looking for the perfect way to stand out at the next event you are hosting? Well, custom cookies are a timeless way to have everyone still buzzing even after they leave. Look no further for your cookie needs than VB Cookie Co. Follow them on Instagram at VB Cookie Co. and message them to order yours today. Whether it is a bridal shower, birthday, engagement, or baby shower, their team will work with you to make all your cookie dreams come true. VB Cookie Co. for the sweetest moments. Boy, what you got?
College baseball, college softball starts this weekend. I know for a fact the regionals start for college baseball on Friday.
Softball's already been going on.
Softball's been going on. No, but the teams just clinched to
Okay,
oh,
so
where do they play it? OKC. Yep, that's where it is. They just clinched their invite there, so I'm pretty sure. Is that going on during the week? I have to think it's probably the same thing where it's gonna happen like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, around that time. But yeah, college softball, college baseball going on this weekend.
I like it. I got the French Open, Roland Garros, the second major of the year, or second Grand Slam of the year, tennis wise. It started on Sunday, I believe. So we're coming up to the first weekend. You know, this is where things get you separate the men from the
chaff.
boys.
We're all chaff over here.
Yep, and the awkwardly feminine from the possibly Canadian. You know, what is that? Cotton McKnight, is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah. From dodgeball, yes. So you get good stuff there. This is like if you want to go to a Grand Slam, tennis Grand Slam, this is the time you want to go for it. Let them get into their groove a couple days. Right. See the like second to like fourth rounds, right? And get the most amount of tennis you could watch with the best quality. Because you eventually, like any tournament, like we see at the playoffs, enough people get knocked out where there's not a lot of people left. There's not as many matches, right? And yes, you had more on the line, but it's, you know, if you were going to watch and wanted to see as many matches as you could, this is the time you want to go. So if you are in Paris, which probably not if you're listening to us, check out the French Open at Roland Garros. They did they didn't retire Nadal's jersey because you can't do that, but they had a dedication of like a plaque with his footprint on it.
Like in clay. Like, is that they should have like made a cast of like the clay court.
Well, I don't think that would last because that's an impermanent structure. Clay is.
The only thing permanent is impermanence.
Thank you. But yeah, no, French Open going on. And I'd said this, I think last year we talked about it, how this is the one major that doesn't get good coverage because like NBC had it and you could only watch like two matches that they would show the two finals. But they're now showing this stuff on TNT, TBS, True TV, right? So, and Max, I believe it's on as well, HBO Max. So you have places to watch this now. Is on. It's a lot better than what it was before. So check it out. The only clay court major of the year. Same way Wimbledon's always different. Roland Garros is always different. Some weird things happen there. Anything else, boy, before we wrap this up?
Is that like the U.S. Open of tennis courses, where it's like the hardest surface?
It's just different.
It's unique.
It's unique. It's different. Americans don't normally do that well on it because we don't have a lot of clay courts, and our clay courts here are made of different surface. Like the red is because that's crushed brick.
It's right. It needs to be the exact same.
And our clay courts here are not crushed brick. They're
probably dirt. It's probably dirt from.
Oh gosh, it's a different rock. I forget. That's why ours are like a really dark green, almost like black looking clay. I forget what the rock is.
We looked this up.
We did, but like
I should know it as a geology major.
Yes, you should. But the clay courts over in Europe, the same as they played Rome, the Italian Open on, and here in Roland Garros are brick, and so it's a little different. So it's like Andre Agassi, 99, last American man to win the French Open. Part of that is because right after him came Nadal.
Came all the big
Nadal and Federer and Djokovic, and they've just dominated everything for the last 20 years. So understandable there, but our top
do we
man,
have an
Taylor Fritz,
American-
got knocked out in the first round, so that didn't help.
Shit, I was just about
The
to
number
ask.
4 seed, by the way, Fritz was. So it's not like our top man was 25-4.
So there was a chance. There was belief going in.
Yes.
Damn.
It's just different. The ball kind of like bounces differently.
Yeah.
Right? It's just
You don't cut. You cut differently.
yeah, but yes, exactly. You move differently. The ball bounces differently. That's why, Rafa mastered it. And once he mastered it, no one could beat him because he figured it out and was that good and no one could stop him. Iga Swiatek on the women's side is slowly becoming that. No matter what her form really is coming into any of these, she's won at least 3 of those in her short time. Already cemented herself as a Hall of Famer just from her play at the French Open. So that's another storyline to look for because she has not been playing well this year. So see if this Open gets her back on track.
Yeah.
Again, anything else before we wrap this up?
No, I'm good.
That's going to do it for us here at What Caught My Eye, or WCME Sports. Remember to follow us on all of our socials on X, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Snapchat, and Threads at WCME_sports. Our episodes drop every Wednesday at noon on Spotify, YouTube, and iHeartRadio, and are always streaming live on Twitch. All this information can be found on our website, WCMEsports.com. For the boy, Stephen Vesci, I am the coach, Nick Vesci. Remember, make sure to be decent to each other, have a good one, and we will see you next time. Take care, Guatemala.